Welcome to the Biz and Tech Podcast. My name is Blake Dowling. I'm the CEO of Aegis Biz Tech, and we are here live in Tallahassee, Florida with Jay Smith from Ajax. First, before we dive into our interview today, we will talk about cybersecurity, typo squatting. Ever heard of it? That's when a hacking entity registers a domain similar to yours and uses it for nefarious purposes. It could be the first step in an email attack. It could be a fake recruiting site where, say, Aegis Biz Tech Co. is registered and a fake Aegis has job postings. People apply to those posts. They are asked to buy uniforms and materials. They are deceived. They are hacked. It's devious. Look out for it. There are tools that can detect this kind of thing. So if you don't have them in your cyber defense arsenal, give your local IT person a call, or me. That's it for cybersecurity today. Jay Smith, welcome. It's great to have you in the studio, man. Go Gators.
Go Gators. Mr. Dowling, how you doing, buddy?
We are doing really, really good. I look forward to diving into a few topics today, especially the history of Ajax. How many years have y'all been in business now?
67 now, since
Wow.
1958.
It seems like 50 happened just the other day.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Time flies.
It's crazy to think.
So first question, let's dive into the Ajax journey. When did you start working for the company, and what's your current role today, and what are y'all up to?
Good. Well, again, Blake, it's always fun to be together. I'm sure we're going to have some good stories popping out of here, but appreciate you having me on and talk all things Ajax, Tallahassee, wherever we want to roll with this. But Ajax, as I indicated, was founded in 1958 by my grandfather, Block Smith. Mm-hmm. His first project was a handshake deal to build a hamburger stand on South Monroe Street. From there, he took off running. My involvement with Ajax, again, being born into it, my dad working at Ajax at the time, it was part of my life from day one. We'd be heading towards a soccer or football game and be heading direction. I said, Dad, where are we going? He would be immediately heading to a job site before we ever went to anything.
We're going to work, son.
That's right. But no, at about age 6 or 7, I'd go in on Fridays with my dad and would meet my grandfather for breakfast bright and early, 6:30 in the morning, and then would trail one of them on going to job site visits. Then started working as a laborer, then as a carpenter's assistant on different projects in the summer or during the Christmas break. And then in high school, worked and supported the office when we were in high school, after school, when I wasn't playing one sport or another. And then in college, down in Gainesville, we opened an office in Gainesville while we were at school at University of Florida together. So I started working there part-time as well. And then, but once graduated, started as a project engineer on a state office building there at Capitol Circle Office Complex, and then started running some schoolwork, and then from there kind of started rolling into multiple job duties.
That is absolutely fantastic. The vision of your grandfather, your father, and you all in the same corporate room is pretty cool.
Really cool.
There was a brief window in my life when I was about 8 or 9 where my grandfather and my dad and I were all in my dad's textile manufacturing plant out in Houston, and Freddie Bear, as I call my granddad, he was smoking cigarettes in the back office by that point and not doing a whole bunch of nothing. Because think about those times, very few people, if any, had computers on their desks.
Right.
So you were just kind of reading the paper and smoking cigarettes if you were my grandfather. And long lunches and going to Astros games.
That's
great memories.
Great memories. It is awesome.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
It was, it was really neat to be able to be in the office and, just listen to my father and grandfather. And my brother was working as well. So I had to be able to work with all three of them. And then, just to listen to the stories and then, bounce ideas off of them was a pretty unique opportunity.
That's outstanding.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing all that.
Yep.
So looking around town, the state, the South, is there a project that you see and think, damn, that's what it's all about, like moment of pride from the construction standpoint with finished product, et cetera?
Well, again, the project dynamics have changed a lot in the in the time I've been there, again, since the mid 90s. So the complexities are changing because of what's going on in the marketplace with, inflation, escalation, tariffs. So there's a lot of unique challenges today. To get a project across the line is more and more challenged because of the labor shortages as well. So each project you have a sense of pride on, but I have to say one that deals with kids, either the schools we do or a not-for-profit opportunity we do. Those are the ones that kind of really that stick out for what the impact's going to be. Of course, we do a lot of cool projects for the state and and universities, but anytime you get to impact a kid's life, I think those are the ones that stand out for you.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. And that'll parlay me into my next question. Community service has always been a part of your career, Ajax's culture. Walk me through some favorite moments from the community service standpoint. Favorite board. You were board chair for the chamber, Tallahassee chamber, that is. Let's start there. What was a favorite moment working with Sue, working with the chamber? She was on the show not too long ago. We had a great chat. I think your name came up. She said you were an outstanding leader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
She leaned forward. She's like, outstanding leader.
Wow. Well.
So I think that means really outstanding.
Yeah. It's that's an honor coming from Sue Dick, who has really shaped a lot of what goes on in Tallahassee. So thanks for telling me that. And thank you, Sue. So when I was guiding the ship, again, we started kind of this whole philosophy that we kind of laid out 3 to 5 year timeline of future leaders in the leadership team. So I was able to sit and watch and be a part of the 2 chairmen ahead of me. And so I was able to learn and watch. And it's interesting. Every year of a chairman's cycle, there's some weird curveball that shows up. I
think the current regime got a curveball this year.
Yeah, they did with Sue stepping down. But again,
and it is awesome, like you said, to have Eddie and Andrew ready to go, because most organizations are only looking the next person if they're organized, much less the next
and they're
two.
The curveball, right? And they're not prepared for the challenges. So I think we did a lot of great things in my year I was there, but leading up to it, I think we were coming out of COVID. When I took over. So Beth Coram did an awesome job leading us through that. So I was kind of taking that, and thought we were coming out, and then we'd pop back in the COVID up and down cycle that we were in there for a while. But we made a big focus on bringing in the county commission, the city commission, the school board, and the universities, and just start this dialogue of, all right, in order to really get this ship heading in the right direction, we needed everybody on the same page, at least with what are the 5 big issues our community is facing, and what do we do together as a team. So we created the community scorecard while I was involved. So it kind of just told us where we sit, unemployment, where do we sit, high school graduation. I mean, just basic things we need to think through as a community. And every little decision each one of us makes impacts that. But how do we come together to really change that dynamic? So that was something I was proud of. And then the classroom connection, something as well.
Very cool program.
Got businesses to support. Then it was kindergarten. I wanted every kindergarten, especially starting in Title I, to have a business supporting them, sponsoring them, to allow these children to see leaders in our community be a part of their classroom, to learn about business, to learn that the community cares about their schools and about their classrooms. And that's grown now for multiple grade levels. But I think we've almost got every kindergarten class outside of Title I to be sponsored or supported by businesses. Again, the small businesses of Tallahassee are the job creators. They're the ones that are financially supporting our community through charitable organizations, everything else. And this was a great opportunity for us to recognize those 2 things that needed to come together. So, again, proud of that as well.
Looking at the not-for-profit space and volunteerism in that world, what's been one of your most favorite engagements?
Yeah, again, anything to do with kids and supporting kids have always been something that I've had a special, heart towards. And earlier in my career, I got involved with Ronald McDonald House charities, which was something I really loved. I had young kids at the time. So supporting families in need when their children are going through some type of medical event was something that I was very proud of, was chair of that organization. I've had the honor to serve on the boards for both Holy Comforter and now Maclay schools where my kids attended, where I actually attended both of those schools. And it's just neat to see, where those schools were when I was there and when you and I were there at Maclay, and where they've come, and then kind of being on those boards thinking, for our kids or our grandchildren, what we want those schools to be looking like, and kind of providing that support have been great. Again, been really unique and honored to be able to serve on a bunch of different charitable organizations here in town, but those are some of the ones that stand out.
Well, that's huge. Thank you for your service. The Maclay conversation is always fun to have. When I first volunteered with Maclay, it was with the Alumni Association, and my stepson Reed was there, and there was it was just marauder this, marauder that every day. And to re-engage with the school again in recent years with you, James, and the entire team at Maclay. Gabby, our producer, has been doing a lot of work for them. Nice job, Gabby. Go Marauders. Everything at Maclay has been a lot of fun lately.
It has. Yeah.
So what's a typical day in the life like these days? You guys are working not just locally, but regionally and nationally. Mm-hmm. You traveling 24/7. You're here today, obviously, in Tallahassee. What's an average day like?
Pretty boring, really. No, I'm just kidding. It could change on a weekly basis. It's the beauty of construction, right? So not one day is similar. So it's not like being an accountant or something where you just, you're going through the same things, going in to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 type thing. I can be anywhere in the country on any given week. Ajax itself is focused on from the Carolinas to Key West, so the Southeast United States is where I've typically am focused on. But inside of the SDO Building Group organization, we're now are in the U.S., Canada, and Europe. So I'm working with businesses and other business units inside of the organization, kind of strategically planning all kind of things and coming together on unique builds. But typically my mornings start early compared to what they were back in Gainesville. Typically they start at 5 a.m. And I'm big into health, so typically in the cold plunge and then working out in some form or fashion.
Nice.
In the car, plane, going somewhere, or meeting with clients. We got a lot of great projects going on in Tallahassee right now, so a lot of attention's focused on some of these major projects here, but we're strategically growing significantly. I think in the last 4 years, we've grown to 194% volume growth. So it's been a lot of focus on people. So we've grown from about 175 people to now over 300 men and women working inside of Ajax. So growing that team and keeping our culture of family something very important. Again, we're very proud of our track record of being third generation operated, and keeping that connection with your people is challenging when you're growing with 17 offices and that many people, but it's been a great run. Got a great team that we've built, and see a lot of growth ahead too for our organization.
Yeah, sustainable scalability is a phrase I've heard a lot lately, and it's
challenging.
It's really challenging, and we're going through some doubling of growth from 11, 12 employees to hitting 30.
Yep.
So just that jump, how do you maintain that culture? How do you maintain a sense of humor? How do you do all of it?
Right.
Even ordering apparel, I can only imagine when you guys order shirts what that looks like for 300 individuals.
Yeah, it's we've learned from some of our friends' companies as well, and we've got our own swag store that people can go online and order stuff, and then we provide credits to the individuals when they buy them and stuff. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I did that for Leadership Tallahassee as part of my board service for them. I was like, let's build a board for our class graduate, or build a store for our class graduates. And, have a jacket and a hat and a mug. I mean, it's time we started doing that for Aegis because the last order about did me in. But we did a nice little mix. Long sleeve, short sleeve.
Something for everybody.
Got a hat here.
That's right.
If you're lucky, we'll let you walk out the door with one today.
I love my Aegis swag, as I was telling you earlier. Still got a bunch of different pieces.
Nice. And if you haven't yet read Mike Dennison's book, Clarity Principles, he's a local author. He'll be speaking at the Chamber this month about his book and the Clarity Principles and his fictitious company that goes through some scaling issues.
Cool.
It's a great read. It's really
It's great.
neat.
It's awesome.
So speaking of reading, what are you reading right now?
I'm about to finish the short story of Pillars of the Earth. Just kidding. It's not short.
890 pages of Tom the Builder?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I know you're a big fan of his.
Love
it. It's been great. It's the whole story, when I started looking at reading the book, again, being on the McClay board, you get to, as outgoing board members leave, they donate a book. And so this was a book that Dinah Curtin donated in. So I'm like, well, I got to need to read after she told me kind of the story of it. So I've been reading that. It's been amazing. It's great. I'm down to the last chapter.
It doesn't sound like it would be the most intriguing read ever, but it's up there as one of my top books.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
As of course, a builder and love Europe, the connections of the ancient builders of these massive, beautiful cathedrals around Europe is really cool.
With a couple hammers.
Yeah, exactly. A little different than today's
Talk about
technology.
labor problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
All right, excellent. So challenging moments. You got one that stands out? Like, man, this was a tough year. What do you got?
Yeah, there's one, of course, that comes to mind, but as everybody, I love the Matthew McConaughey green light, red light type things in life, and we have all those little things that kind of shape who you are and kind of the direction you go. That at the time you don't think it's a big deal or something, but hindsight being what they are, you're like, wow, it kind of just thankfully gave me a direction in another way that I never thought was the right way. We had a pretty significant project in Miami that had a big issue that kind of changed your focus on what you wanted the company to do and how to manage it. And of course, you really see quickly your team around you is so important. Not only your team that you have inside of your organization, but your support personnel. So we've got great friends, you and I, that came together and rallied around my support. So, Ron LaFace, Jason Gonzalez, Tony Grippa were really three unique individuals that I had supporting Ajax at the time that I leaned on heavily, and they, kind of made that happen. So again, it kind of refocuses you on when you have this weird, catastrophic type event that could really impact you and your family and everything else. And you learn quickly that your people that you surround you with are so important, and kind of gives you good faith as well that you build your friendships like you and I had for almost 40 years, that those things matter. And you look back, you're like, man, it wasn't just Blake's a great guy, it's all the things that we do for each other when you're in time of need. So it was a pretty significant time in 20, I guess that was 20, I gotta remember the years now, 2017.
It seems like yesterday. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned those gentlemen. I was talking with Jason and Ron last week. That typo squatting intro I gave, full transparency, that happened to us last week. As an IT company, we spend our days fighting hackers for our clients. And Mike Harris from our team texted me while I was on the road in Mississippi and said, hey, man, there's a German website that says it's Aegis. Take a look. We just got an alert, from our security partner, and that had my face all over it. And some bald guy that wasn't me that said it was me. And
wow.
We were thinking their intent was to post fake jobs and have them think it was for Aegis and defraud people that way. But it could have been some sort of email attack. Anyway, we were able to block it internally and externally and get the site down same day, which I was thinking would take weeks.
Right.
But people are so hypersensitive to that level of threat that, you don't have to jump through the hoops that you think you would. But I called Jason and Ron and let them know what was going on, as they're both clients. And funnily enough, Jason Gonzalez moved into the old or current Greenberg Trarg building, right? And that was my first job, like outside of my family.
The runner.
Yeah, which made me decide not to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So all those points that you're talking about, I truly can relate to all of them. Good stuff. We've definitely got a good thing going in this community with some great people. Excellent. So let's talk about your family. What are your kids up to?
Yeah.
What's Bree got going on? What are you guys doing?
Man, it's exciting times in the Smith household. So my oldest, Avery, is in D.C., working on the Hill for Senator Lindsey Graham.
I loved working with her on your 50th anniversary video, which we shot right here in this studio. Mallory and I did when she was working with us.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
50th birthday, not anniversary, but it's good.
Yeah, sorry. We're not that old yet.
That old.
Soon.
That's right. So she's doing really well, living in D.C. and trying to conquer the world there in Washington. It's amazing how many 20-somethings are up there run the world. But she's
I'm headed there next week.
Great.
I'm gonna do my best to keep up with all these young people.
Yeah. So she's doing really well. Kate, my middle daughter, is in her senior year at University of Georgia, which is tough for us Gators to say. I've had 2 Bulldogs, but doing really well. She's president of her sorority and finance and data analytics focused major. So she's trying to figure out if she's going to go to grad school or not. She had a cool internship in New York this summer.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then the baby Claire is senior at Maclay, president of the senior class, and cheering and soccer and everything else that's going on. So just trying to be present as many places at once. But Bree's got a milestone birthday coming up here soon, but she's doing awesome and getting ready for the next stage of empty nesting, which will be interesting. It'll be a different turn of events after 23 years.
Well, one of them will come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Mallory came back.
That's right. Hey, we love it.
And then she left again.
That's right.
So serious question.
Yes.
Before families and spouses, and who would you say was your favorite roommate of all time?
Well, there's been plenty of them, but I have to say I had one roommate in multiple locations, and Mr. Dowling, you were that man. And
it was a loaded question. If you
right.
didn't say me, I would be like, all right, cut.
The show would have been cut off. No, we had a lot of. I remember I was thinking when you asked me to come on in 1990 when we went down to Gainesville for the first time together and kind of decided we both wanted to be Gators. Then living together our freshman year and then our last 2 years. I don't know if that'd be our junior senior year, but our last 2 years together was pretty special. I
had a red shirt.
That's right. We were red shirted. We had to win the last national title, right? Or I guess the first Gator title. But you and I had a lot of great memories, and it was fun. We had a good time together.
Yeah, I'll always owe you for that. I was a Bama fan my whole life, from 4 until 18, or however old we were from that trip.
Yep.
And it only took a day in Gainesville with you and your brother, and I said, trajectory of life, reroute.
Yeah.
And what a great decision.
Great time.
And appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Good stuff. So cocktails with a celebrity. If you could pick one, who would you have a cold beer with? Alive or dead? No rules.
Man, that's a curveball. I didn't even think about that. You know, I hate to be
I said Ozzy Osbourne just to get your creative juices flowing.
I know. Again, I'd like to go back and have a cocktail with my dad or granddad, probably more than anybody, if you had the chance again, just to catch back up with them and talk about what you've done, what you're facing and stuff. Wouldn't
it be amazing to know what you know now?
Yeah, exactly.
And have those conversations.
Right.
I know what you were talking about.
Exactly.
So generationally,
that's right.
You're always at a different advantage if you're on the young end of that conversation.
Celebrity wise would be fun. Big Tom Brady fan. It would be fun to spend an afternoon just talking all things motivation and leadership from somebody like that. But I'd much rather catch up with my dad or granddad again just to check in.
That's a great answer. When Gary Jordan was on the show, I asked him the time travel question, and he said, I'd like to go back and meet Bernice again.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the same vibe, because very, very cool.
Yep.
So UFOs, true or false, yes or no? Are you a believer or not? What do you think?
Well, I have yet to see one yet, but I have to think there's something else out there beyond what we see on a daily basis. But again, who knows? That's the beauty of it. You and I both were big X-Files fans back in the day.
It's got to
So
be, right?
It's fun, right?
And I discovered Ancient Aliens during the pandemic and binge watched, I don't know how many there are, 20 years of them.
That's right.
All of them.
That's right.
It's got to be, you know.
That's right.
The pyramids, man. The pyramids in Middle East and in South America that look the same.
Right. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Anywho.
Yeah.
So who's the greatest American?
Who's the greatest American? Golly, Hood.
This is the Biz and Tech podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
We don't give you any fluffy questions.
Yeah. Well, let me pause on that one. Let me think for a second.
I think Ronald Reagan is a very popular answer,
of
so you
course.
can't use that.
No, I know.
But
That's something that's the here and now. Think through the great presidents and business leaders, that have shaped the United States. It's pretty unique group. Of course, what Washington did, was pretty remarkable, leading us through the war and then becoming the first president, and really didn't want the job. And he was able to say, a president needs to have their term and get out of here. Doesn't need to be a king, because they wanted him to stay on longer. I just think that the challenges of setting up a country and starting it must have been just really, really challenging.
logistics nightmare.
Yeah.
Talk about sustainable scalability.
So
Holy
again,
moly.
it's an easy one to go to as a first president of the United States, but you think where we are today from where we started, it's pretty impressive man that could lead, be the general, and then be the president of the United States to lead us to where we are today. Is pretty awesome.
So binge watching television, very important. If you've never seen Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn,
Yeah, seen it?
I highly recommend it. Okay, you've seen it.
Yeah.
So you're in the know.
Yeah.
That's good.
We do a lot of work in the Keys. It's not too far off. It's an interesting world down there. So,
It is. I
it's
haven't
good.
been down in a while.
Yeah.
So what are y'all watching?
So right now, let's see, what did we just finish? Bree and I roll through things pretty quick. I'm watching a movie right now that's just unique called The Fountain of Youth. The guy from The Office, the young guy,
Okay.
John guy. But anyway, his Fountain of Youth is a new movie. It's a movie that's out on Apple only. That I started watching that.
Okay.
Claire and I like all of the James Bond and Mission Impossibles, so she and I will binge those together a good bit. So that's typically what we're watching.
Did you watch all the Star Wars lately? I made Mallory do that right
Watch them
before
all.
she graduated, all
That's
in a
great.
row.
Yeah, all my girls love Star Wars with me, so it's good that they're one with the Force.
All right. Well, before we wrap up today, we cannot not talk about America's greatest sport, college football. And while not dwelling on coaching regimes or offensives that may be offensive, we won't even go there because things happen for a reason. What was your favorite sporting event, if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, man, Augusta National is pretty special. To get a chance to go to the Masters is kind of one of those things that you watch on TV as a kid growing up, and then you get to go to the grounds, and it's actually better in person than it is on TV. Those are all pretty special to go to, but any national championship game, either basketball or football, is really unique.
Did you make the Gator one this time?
The basketball, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I got to go to an Augusta National that week, and so I chose Augusta over the basketball
You
championship.
chose well.
Yeah.
When I got the call in 2000, I believe it was a Tiger Masters. to go over. I was living in Atlanta, and we went over and took a spot from a Bank of America exec who had, a driver in a house and all
Wow.
that sort of thing. Unbelievable, because I still don't necessarily claim to be a huge golf fan.
Right.
But talk about an event that'll just suck you in. I was watching all golf tournaments after that.
You talk about brand, you talk about hospitality, you talk about
Elite.
just how you take care of the patrons. They don't call them spectators, they're the patrons. I mean, everything they do is just so on point, and how they manage it.
And when you do separate it out like that, instead of calling people clients, but guests,
Yeah.
like the Ritz does things like
Yeah.
that. And
It's very
you're right. Good point with Augusta. If I had to answer that question, I think we were there remotely together. The 96 national championship.
Yeah, we were.
The Florida State rematch.
Cool.
My dad was kind enough to overnight me his Saints tickets, which he had an option on. So we weren't sitting together per se, but wow, what a game.
Pretty cool.
Like, if you weren't a fan before that, that was one of those just life-changing. Bowden versus Spurrier. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, it was a good time. A lot of good memories at each one of those.
So, what else is out there, man? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, no, I just think that the dynamics of what's taking place and the national realm is actually, you're starting to feel that a little bit closer to home.
In what way?
All politics are local, right? But just the tension, and you feel. But I think there's a reset going on right now. I think hopefully we're all kind of looking at each other and remembering that we might think differently, but it's okay to listen to someone's opposing view. Like the whole saying that, if you're not talking, that's when problems happen. And so in our community here in Tallahassee, we have a lot of amazing things going on with this community. We got, 2 major universities, a state college that really are driving, talent through this community and provide a lot of financial support to our community. And then we have, of course, the state capitol. So that all of those things give us this really baseline of a great economy. The question is, how do we keep engaging and bringing in more private business opportunities for growth, for jobs? And so, again, whether you sit on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of the aisle, I think it's really important that we keep the dialogue and keep the temperature down. I mean, it's amazing to see here in just little old Tallahassee how nasty and how divisive we could get. And I think we got to keep the communication lines going. We need good people to run for office that have it, that want to do it for the right reason, to keep shaping our community. It used to be a thing in Tallahassee for years. You would run your business, you would then retire, and then you would serve your community. And we need to get people back to serving our community. And so I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful that the right things will happen and our community will go to the right direction to make sure that we're driving our community forward. Because what a gem we have here. We're lucky to live in Tallahassee. I'm really lucky to have raised my girls here, and my wife and I to kind of come back where we met in 1990 when she and I met at the flagpole at FSU, at the FSU football game, to now have our kids be a part of all of this, what this community is. So I'm hopeful, but it takes leadership and it takes people leaning in and not being afraid of a challenge. So with that, I think Tallahassee will be successful.
Well said, man. Well said. I think, even doing my own small part with this show, we always want to keep it positive. We always want to showcase the good that we're doing. So many people focus on the negative and subject themselves to the negativity out there, be part of that negativity, when it takes a lot less effort to be positive and bring something good to the table.
Yep.
And I think that's what does make Tallahassee special. While it's far from perfect, you look at the national stage, and we are in a little bit of a bubble. It gets busted often, but I'm blessed that we're here and very much appreciative of you coming on the show today. And speaking of politics, one of our producers, CB Lorch, he's decided to throw his name in the elected official hat.
That's
so
right.
You get a plug today, CB.
That's right.
But, you know, whether it's putting out a show or serving on a board or running for office, whatever you're doing, to not name call and not troll and be part of making our world better, because the older you get, as we were talking generationally, this is our shot. This is our shift. You know, what's going on our watch? And, you know, it might not be pretty, but it's the best thing going today, right?
That's right. Sounds like a little Ric Flair there. It's a good
Yeah, I decided not to go for
That's right.
the big ending there.
Ooh.
But that's it for today, Jay Bird. I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Hood.
Thank you for all you do for Tallahassee, for McClay, for your family, for our friends, for Gator Nation. And thank you, Level Up Media. Thank you, CB and Charlie Bravo Productions. And that's it. I'm Blake Dowling. I'm the CEO of Aegis Biz Tech, host of the Biz and Tech podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.